We all love that burst of motivation, the spark that gets us moving, makes us feel unstoppable. But what happens when that spark fades? Motivation is powerful, but it's also fleeting. That's where discipline comes in. The unsung hero that keeps you going even when motivation is nowhere to be found. In this video, I'm going to be breaking down the difference between motivation and discipline, and why discipline is the key to achieving your goals. First thing I want to talk about is motivation and how it is unpredictable. Sometimes it can happen randomly, or sometimes you're gearing up towards getting to that point, but sometimes it just doesn't happen at all. And what you need to understand is that motivation is linked to your emotions. It's sometimes linked to something like the weather. It's linked to all these different external factors. But the only way to guarantee that you're going to do something that day is not motivation, it's discipline. Motivation can spark that initial action. It can spark that initial idea if you want to start a business, if you want to be an entrepreneur, if you want to be the next Muhammad Ali. Motivation can get you to the starting point. But for you to carry out and execute on those ideas, those plans, those dreams, those goals that you have, you're not going to feel good every day. Now, an example I have recently is last week on a Wednesday, I went to the gym. I did not want to go to the gym. I was so demotivated that day. I just wasn't feeling good. I had enough sleep. I had the right amount to eat. I just didn't feel good. But I knew that I still had to go to the gym. It wasn't motivation that got me there. It was discipline. Now, the day before, I felt good. I felt motivated. I felt energetic. I went to the gym. On Monday, same thing. Thursday, same thing. Wednesday, not the same thing. I felt horrible on that Wednesday, but I had to make sure that I showed up for myself. Now, that wasn't motivation. It wasn't any kind of external factor. It was me inside. I had to do it. Motivation is also something you can't depend on long term. As I've just said, it's fleeting. It comes and it goes. It has to be discipline that's going to make you act. And that is hard to do when you're doing something you don't really want to do. Number two is how to build habits that will help you become more disciplined. Having structure in your life, having habits that you follow every single day will help you get to that point. Now, if you wake up every single day and you check social media, that is one thing that could be detrimental on the rest of your day. Because the first thing you're doing is you're waking up, looking on social, and then you're automatically comparing yourself to someone you see online. Now, one thing that you can do, which is better than waking up and looking at social, is waking up and doing something like meditation, doing some mindfulness, praying, doing yoga, going for a walk. These different steps, though not linked to your main goals, will help you get some kind of order and routine into your life. Because if you can wake up every single day, have the same routine, that will then allow the rest of your day to flow the way you want it to flow. Because if you have order in your day, you will then have order in the rest of your life, like career, like extracurricular activities, and all of the above. The discipline that you implement can turn actions into automatic behavior. The majority of us, I hope, brush our teeth every single day. No one needs to remind us. No one really needs to watch us while we do it. We just do it. That is part of our routine. Minimum twice a day, you're brushing your teeth. Now, if you look at it from the same perspective as going to the gym. Now, we brush our teeth for mouth health and care, making sure that our teeth aren't falling out, they're not rotting, we're not getting fillings, there's no cavities, etc. We're doing that for a particular reason. Now, something like the gym, we don't see as the same because we don't necessarily see the results straight away. So when you're brushing your teeth, if you've got stuff in them, you brush your teeth, floss, mouthwash, whatever, instantly you see something. There is a result instantly, which makes you feel like you're doing something. With the gym, it can be more difficult because those results come later on, but you have to instill those systems and that mentality first off to see those results later on. Because if you don't have those systems set in place, then you won't see anything later on down the line. And discipline will be harder for you to implement and for it to be part of your daily routine. So you need to understand that your discipline, implementing it every day, will eventually lead to those results you're looking for. The third thing I want to look at is a long-term success and how discipline outperforms motivation. Now, if you look up any example out there of someone that persevered, someone that got through hard times, it wasn't via motivation. It was because they had systems set into place. They were disciplined. They knew the difference and they weren't relying on motivation. If motivation came, great. It was discipline that carried them through those trials and tribulations. When it comes to being successful, you need to look for something that's going to have longevity in it. So if you look at your career, where you want to go and how you want to do things, you often look at how long it's going to last, whether there's a future in it. Now, motivation is something that doesn't have a future in it. It's here, it's now. But discipline has a future. If you make sure that you're disciplined every single day, then every single day you know you're going to show up to that thing, no matter what it is. And one thing that can help with that is having a schedule for yourself. There's nothing worse than trying to be disciplined in something but not having a schedule. So for example, wanting to go to sleep early. The only way that can happen is if you schedule your day in and know exactly when you want to go to sleep. So all of those other things, those tasks that you have, are going to be completed by whatever time. But again, that comes from planning your day, being disciplined with your time, and making sure that you're in bed at that time to then wake up and do it again tomorrow and the day after and the day after. Number 4 is motivation is a bonus. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not a complete maniac. I know that motivation has a purpose, but it's just a bonus. If you're already disciplined, if you're already doing everything that you want to do, motivation showing up for you is great. It's something extra that you can add to the fire to help you carry on going. It can help you on those days where you don't feel that great, but it's not something that should be a crutch for you. It's not something that should be carrying you. Motivation should allow you the headspace to understand that what you're doing every single day is good enough, but you can have that little extra to help you over the finish line. But it's not something that you should rely on. You need to understand that discipline is something that needs to be done every single day, no matter how you feel. And motivation is like the little best friend that shows up now and again, surprises you and says, hey, I see what you're doing. Let me just add a little bit of energy to what you're doing. And then it goes. But it's not something that you should rely on showing up for you. So when you're doing your thing, you shouldn't be looking for motivation. You should be looking at what you're doing and just know that your actions will eventually have some kind of result. And if motivation shows up, great. If it doesn't, you're going to keep going anyway. And the 5th and final thing is building discipline. How do you do it? So I've already mentioned things like having a routine. Other things is managing the tasks that you have, putting them into short segments of your day. If you have a lot to do that day, break those things up. Allocate time towards those little things. 15 minutes, half an hour, 1 hour. Try not to exceed a task by an hour. And if you do, take a break and then get back to it. But make sure you've scheduled it in. If it is something that's going to take a long time, not a problem. Schedule breaks, but allocate that time accordingly. That way you will have an automatic routine set into place. And don't just randomly switch up your routine on the day. Make sure everything is scheduled in for the day, whether you're taking breaks, whether you are going to be moving on to a different task, sleeping, lunch, breakfast, whatever it is, schedule in that time for yourself. Now, I know that can be tricky if you have a full-time job, but as soon as your full-time job finishes, the evening hours that you have, schedule those in. If you have family members that you need to go see, schedule it in. If you're going to go see a friend, schedule it in. Be strict with your time. That will allow you to keep on track and be disciplined with your time, because time is the only thing we don't get back. If we lose time, we can't earn it back. So remember that next time you're thinking about doing something that isn't part of your routine or part of your timeline for the day. One other thing is building mental resilience. Now, discipline can't happen if you aren't resilient. It's difficult. anything that's ever been worth achieving needs some kind of discipline put into it. And that can only happen through mental resilience. And that can only happen is if you're actually enjoying what you're doing. If you can actually see the results in what you're going to be doing and whether you're interested in it. That's the main thing. And the only way that can happen is making sure that whatever you're doing is for yourself. It's not for anyone else. You're not trying to impress anyone else. What you're doing is for you. The business that you're trying to create, the dreams that you're trying to pursue, they're for you. And mental resilience comes from understanding that it's not going to happen if you don't apply yourself. But know that one day it will happen. If you keep persevering, you keep going, you keep trying, and understand that in this movie of life, you're a main character and discipline is another main character. And motivation is a little extra that shows up now and again. It's in the background, it's there. Sometimes it's not. But you need to understand that discipline will carry you to success. And motivation might show up. And if it does, great. If it doesn't, don't worry. You've got discipline to carry. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to hit the like button. Make sure to subscribe and share. And I'll catch you all on the next video. Take care.